10 most expected bikes of 2024. 2023 hasn't seen an enormous measure of new cruiser models being sent off. Yet maybe that is on the grounds that many existing models were exclusively due for substitution in 2024. Whatever the explanation, 2024 vows to be a rare year for significant new models from the world's bike producers, including new variants of existing models and totally new models, some of which are tremendously huge for the makers and the market the same. While the Japanese appear to focus more on refreshing their rough terrain, Enduro and MX models, the European makers are energetically putting faith in new street models, albeit 2024 ought to see the send-off of the eagerly awaited rough terrain range from Win, albeit no firm date has been set for their appearance. 10 BMW R 1300 GS. By BMW's own confirmation, the fighter twin motor was arriving at the constraints of improvement with the R 1250 GS. However, in spite of that assumption, BMW has totally redesigned the motor, and on the off chance that uprooting has risen just a limited quantity, 46C, to make it a genuine 1300cc. It actually has the shift cam variable valve timing, and power depends on 145 strength. Maybe more significantly, the general weight has been decreased by 26 pounds. And BMW says the ethos behind the new model was to alter the course of experience, bikes getting ever greater and more massive. Immense gadgets bundle and Harley, replicating self-bringing down suspension when very still. The new R 1300 GS may be light years from the absolute first R80 GS of the mid-1980s. However, the objective continues as before. Unbeatable execution, reasonableness, and toughness on any street surface the world can toss at it. Engine, flat twin, variable DOHC displacement, 1300C, power, 145, horsepower, torque, 110, FT LBS, 9, Aprilia RS 457. A great deal of makers are focusing on the more modest classes chasing deals achievement, and Aprilia has gotten the fight together with the new RS 457. It is controlled by a fluid-cooled DOHC twin-chamber motor, pushing out 47 drive, and seems to be a little RS V4, which will cause it no damage at all. The aluminum outline involves the motor as a focused-on part, and weight is held down to a great 385 pounds. Innovation that was once the protective lead models has streamed down. And you'll get ride-by-wire choke with 3 riding modes, double-channel ABS, a full variety TFT run, and a not-too-outrageous riding position. In the event that it has all the Aprilia DNA, being extraordinary fun out and about or track is certain. Engine, parallel twin, DOHC, displacement 4557cc, power 47 horsepower, torque not quoted, 8 KTM 890 Adventure R Rally. In the event that the standard KTM 890 Experience R isn't exactly no-nonsense enough for you, KTM has declared the meeting spec adaptation of the model. The primary improvement is to the suspension. The 890 Experience R Rally gets lightweight WP Explore, Ace 7548 forks, and a WP Explore Expert 6746 back safeguard, both from the WP Star Parts program. This exceptional suspension offers the most significant level of damping execution in the hardest of conditions, giving magnificent feel, solace, and control. Also, an unrivaled ride when the bicycle is completely stacked with one or the other, traveler or baggage. The motor remaining parts in a similar tune, and that implies 105 drive and 73 foot-pounds of force, and comes total with an Akrapovic slip-on line exhaust. Different advantages are a race-explicit convention seat, substantial wheels with succeed edges, a fast shifter, rally foot stakes, tank watches, motor watchman, and suspension monitors. Simply a pity they've all sold out as of now. Engine, parallel twin, DOHC displacement, 300cc power, 105 horsepower, torque 73 ft-lbs. 7. Triumph Scrambler 400. Monstrous news from Win, regardless of whether it isn't startling, as spy shots have been coursing for basically a year. This will be Win's most memorable single-chamber motor in more than 50 years and is a fuel-infused DOHC unit, creating 40 drive and 28 foot-pounds of force, with the majority of the last accessible from 2,500 RPM up to 9,500 RPM. Somewhat longer travel suspension than the Speed 400. However, as a general rule, this is all the more a road scrambler with style more significant rather than certifiable rough terrain capacity, despite the fact that Metzeler Karoo road tires will function admirably rough terrain, while the 19-inch front 17-inch back tire sizes really intend that there will be a lot of road elastic that can be fitted on, the off chance that there is no expectation to head rough terrain. 395 pounds is the in with no reservations weight, and, in the event that Win has kept up with the form, nature of its bigger models, seeing this not being a gigantic success is difficult. Engine. Single cylinder. DOHC displacement 400 cc. Power 40. Horsepower. Torque 28 ft-lbs. 6. Triumph Speed 400. The Speed 400 is the dawning roadster model of the new 400cc lineup and is precisely indistinguishable from the Scrambler 400X. The motor was planned by Win in the UK, and the bicycle will be underlying India on account of Win's Bajaj tie-in. The choke is ride-by-wire, giving admittance to footing control. The gearbox has 6 velocities, mated to a slip and help grasp. Suspension is by Showa, seat level a low 31 inches. Plate brakes are cinched by Vibra calipers. There's a simple speedometer with a computerized show, not unlike victory dashboards of years gone by. Driven lighting is utilized all over, and there is no great explanation to expect something besides Win-assemble quality, which is among the best from any producer. From a good ways, you'll need to look cautiously to understand. It's anything but a Speed Twin 1200, and that is simply going to add to the allure. Engine, single-cylinder, DOHC displacement, 400 cc power, 5 horsepower. Torque, 28 ft-lbs. 5. Kawasaki Eliminator. Kawasaki's splendid minimal equal twin motor finds another home in the Honda Renegade 500 testing Eliminator model. At 4.5 feet 1 cc, it's just 20 cc short of the Honda's dislodging and clearly has been intended to clash with that model, both concerning execution and styling, being a kind of lengthy and low cruiser, though one with not unique rider ergonomics to the Z400 stripped sports bicycle, albeit the wheelbase is longer and the bars mounted slightly higher. Drive isn't cited, however force figure sits at 31.7 foot-pounds, almost 4 more than a similar motor in the Ninja 400, at lower RPM, which gives a sign of where Kawasaki is pitching this model. It looks pleasingly thick. Helped by the 130 milli, 150 million front-back tire widths, the seat level is a low 28.9 inches, and generally weight is 386 pounds. Strangely, Kawasaki actually offers ABS and non-ABS variants. Engine, parallel twin, DOHC displacement, 451 cc, power, not quoted. Torque, 31.7 ft-lbs. 4. BMW R, 12nineT. It's difficult to trust that the R9T has been around for a long time as of now and was plainly prepared for an update. The name of the new model is confounding and, as there are no determinations accessible at this point, there's absolutely not a chance of determining what the uprooting will be, albeit the photos let us know it is still air oil cooled. The general plan is something similar, yet it has been changed and has a more forceful focus on it, and BMW lets us know that the edge is new, the forks rearranged, and the Brembo calipers radially mounted. The first R9T was sent off to celebrate 90 years of BMW Motorrad, so it's just fitting that the model gets an update for the 100th commemoration. Engine, flat twin. Variable DOHC displacement, 170C, power, 105 horsepower, torque, 80 FT lbs. 3 BMW M 1000 XR. We as a whole realize that the typical period of motorcyclists is rising, and the game's bicycle riders of days of old can never again crease themselves onto a limit superbike any longer. Yet, does that imply that their crave outrageous execution is darkened? Obviously not, as per BMW, and the proof comes as the M 1000 XR. The S1000XR had a detuned variant of the inline four-chamber motor from the S1000RR in a game's visiting frame and riding position, and the M1000XR is the same in this regard, albeit 200 drive on draft and a maximum velocity of 174 PS is a sad detune. The M brakes are fitted, just like the M winglets, and this bicycle ought to be a monster on street or track. Engine, inline four-cylinder, variable DOHC displacement, 1000 cc, power, 200 horsepower, torque, 84 FT lbs. 2 BMW F900 GS Adventure BMW has been occupied. The fourth bicycle on this rundown from Germany is BMW's most recent passage into the inexorably significant middleweight experience bicycle class that is overwhelmed by Win and KTM right now, with the Tiger 900 and 890 experience separately. The F900 GS replaces the F850 GS, and the 895cc 8-valve equal-twin motor pushes out 103 pull with noteworthy perfection because of the balancer shafts. 30 pounds has been shaved off the general weight, and the general position is somewhat more rough terrain enlivened. The Experience model replaces the 14.5-liter tank with a 23-liter thing. Gadgets have all been overhauled, and dynamic electronic suspension is a choice, as is much else. Yet you will pay intensely for every last bit of it. Engine, parallel twin, DOHC displacement, 95 cc power, 103 horsepower, torque, 68.6 FT lbs. 1 Kawasaki KLX300. Sometime in the past, bicycles, for example, the Kawasaki KLR600 and Honda XR650, were as major areas of strength for yet to the generally new variety of experience bicycle, and despite the fact that you can, in any case, purchase both assuming you're in the right country, they are fabulously antiquated and unreasonably awkward to offer any resistance to any semblance of the BMW GS models. However, that doesn't stop the allure of an enormous-engined off-road bicycle, and Kawasaki's 2024 KLX300 is a splendid counteractant to the weight and greater part of present-day experience bicycles. The motor is a 292C, fuel-infused 4-valve single, which pretty much huge enough to empower a more extended ride on the backtop. Yet it will be rough terrain where the KLX will succeed on account of its tall suspension and 21 18-inch wheels wearing knobbly tires. Likewise, accessible is the KLX300 SM, SM for supermotored, with street tire wheel sizes. Engine, single-cylinder, DOHC displacement, 292cc. Share your favorite motorcycle with us in the comments. Subscribe to our channel to avoid missing the latest developments about motorcycles. Thank you for liking the video.